Hello and welcome. This is a video to learn English and to improve your listening with real history. My name is Richard. In this episode, you will learn English through history, real events, simple words, useful phrases, and a clear story. Today, we travel to the city of Brescia in northern Italy. At the end of the audio, I will ask you 5 comprehension questions. So listen carefully, but do not worry. The English is A2 level, slow, clear, and simple. Our story is called the 10 Days of Brescia. In Italian, people say Le 10 giornate di Brescia. It happened from March 23rd to April 1st, 1849. For 10 days, many people in Brescia fought against Austrian rule. The city was not rich in soldiers, but it had courage, streets, houses, and people who did not want to be silent. Let us start with a simple map in your mind. Brescia is in Lombardy, not far from Milan and Lake Garda. Above the city, there is a strong castle on a hill. In 1849, this castle was very important. If soldiers controlled the castle, they could look down at the city and fire cannons into the streets. Important word number 1, revolt. A revolt is when people say no to a ruler and fight against that ruler. A similar word is uprising. In this episode, we use revolt because it is easier. Repeat after me, revolt. The people of Brescia started a revolt. Good. Now, let us enter the story. The story begins before Brescia. In 1848, many European cities were full of anger and hope. People wanted constitutions, rights, and national freedom. This time is often called the springtime of the peoples. In Italy, many people wanted to be free from Austrian power. Milan rose up. Venice rose up. The king of Piedmont, Sardinia, Charles Albert, went to war against Austria. In March 1848, Brescia also changed. Austrian soldiers left the city without a great fight, and a temporary city government began. For a short time, people felt hope. But history can move like weather in the mountains. Sun in the morning, storm in the afternoon. In July 1848, the Piedmontese army lost at Custoza. In August, the Armistice of Salasco gave Brescia back to Austrian control. When Austrian control returned, life in Brescia became difficult again. Soldiers were in the castle. The city had to obey. In January 1849, General Haynau ordered Brescia to pay a very large fine. Many people felt this was unfair. The city was tired, angry, and afraid. Under the normal noise of daily life, there was a second noise, the quiet sound of a new revolt. Language stop. Here are 2 useful phrasal verbs. To rise up means to start fighting against power. The people rose up. To stand up to someone means to resist a stronger person or group. Brescia stood up to the Austrian army. Repeat, rise up, stand up to, very good. In March 1849, King Charles Albert broke the armistice and started the war again. In Brescia, patriots prepared. A patriot is a person who loves their country and wants freedom for it. Tito Speri, a young patriot from Brescia, returned to the city. Other citizens also prepared. They hoped that the Piedmontese army was winning, but the truth was different. On March 23, 1849, the Piedmontese army was defeated by Austria at Novara. This was terrible news for the Italian cause. But in Brescia, many people did not know the truth, or did not believe it. Some reports said the opposite. In a revolt, information can be as important as bread, water, and weapons. On the same day, March 23rd, trouble started in Brescia. An Austrian officer came to the town hall about the fine. A crowd became angry. Soon there was disorder in the city. From the castle, Austrian soldiers fired cannon shots as a warning. Imagine the sound over the roofs. One city, one hill, one castle, and fear moving from street to street. The people began to build barricades. A barricade is a wall in a street, made quickly with carts, wood, stones, and furniture. It blocks soldiers and horses. In simple English, a barricade is a street wall. Brescia did not have a large regular army, but the people knew their streets. They used the city itself as a weapon. On March 24th and 25th, the revolt became more organized. A public defense committee was created. Some leaders wanted caution. Others believed the fight had already started and could not stop. The castle was still in Austrian hands. The streets were in the hands of citizens. Brescia was now divided between stone walls above and human walls below. Grammar stop. Notice this useful structure. There was and there were. We use there was for one thing. There was a castle. We use there were for many things. There were barricades. Listen again. There was fear in the city. There were people in the streets. Simple, clear, and very useful. On March 26th, Austrian troops under General Nugent moved toward Brescia from Mantua. Tito Sperry and other fighters tried to stop them, but it was difficult. The Austrian army had trained soldiers, horses, and guns. The people of Brescia had courage and local knowledge. Courage is powerful, but courage also pays a high price. During these days, false news moved around the city. Some people still believed that the Piedmontese army had won. Austrian messages said that Piedmont had lost, but many citizens did not trust the messages. This is important. Many people in Brescia were fighting with hope in their hearts, while the larger war outside the city was already going badly. Language stop. Phrasal verb, to find out. It means to learn the truth. The citizens slowly found out that the news was bad. Another phrase, to hold on. It means to continue in a hard situation. Brescia held on for 10 days. Repeat, find out. Hold on. Excellent. One famous place in the story is Porta Torrelunga, one of the city gates. There, the fighting was hard. Austrian forces tried to bring the citizens out into the open. Many people moved toward the enemy, and many died. In a story, a gate can feel like a symbol. On one side, the city. On the other side, the army between them. A choice. On March 29 and 30th, the situation became worse. More Austrian soldiers arrived. Fighting continued in different parts of Brescia, near gates, streets, and small squares. The citizens tried to defend the city, but food, bullets, and strength were limited. Some leaders tried to speak with the Austrian commanders, but there was no easy peace. Then General Julius von Haynau arrived. He was feared by many people. In Brescia, his name became connected with violence and punishment. On March 31st, under fog and during bombardment, Austrian troops became stronger in the castle. Haynau demanded surrender. Surrender means to stop fighting and accept defeat, but many citizens still refused. Imagine the town hall. A message arrives. The Austrian general asks the city to surrender. Outside, people are tired. Windows are broken. Smoke is in the air. But the answer from many fighters is still no. This is the heart of the story, not a perfect victory, but a painful resistance. The city knows danger, and still it stands. On March 31st, Austrian troops attacked the city from different sides. The castle fired again. Fighting was heavy near Porta Torrelunga and in other areas. General Nugent was seriously wounded during the fighting and later died. In the streets, many civilians suffered. Houses burned, people were killed. The revolt was now close to its end. On April 1st, after a terrible night, Brescia could not continue. The city leaders accepted surrender. A Franciscan priest, Father Maurizio Malvestiti, helped with the talks, but even after surrender, violence and punishment did not stop immediately. The 10 Days of Brescia ended, but the memory of those days stayed alive. The revolt failed in a military sense. Austria took control again. Many people died, including civilians. Some were executed, others were punished. But history is not only about who wins on the last day. History is also about what people remember. Brescia remembered the courage of its citizens, and Italy remembered Brescia. Later, Brescia became famous as the Lioness of Italy. In Italian, Leonessa d'Italia. The name was connected with poets such as Aleardo Aleardi and Giosuè Carducci. A lioness is strong, proud, and brave. The name helped people see Brescia not only as a city that lost, but as a city that resisted with great courage. Why does this story matter for us today? Because it teaches a simple lesson. Freedom is not an abstract word. It lives in streets, homes, schools, and ordinary people. The people of Brescia were not characters in a legend. They were citizens. They were afraid. They were tired. But for 10 days they chose to act. Vocabulary recap. Revolt means a fight against a ruler. Barricade means a quick wall in a street. Cannon means a large gun. Surrender means to stop fighting and accept defeat. Citizen means a person who lives in a city or country and is part of its public life. Listen again later and try to hear these words in the story. Phrasal verb recap. Rise up. The people rose up. Stand up to. Brescia stood up to the Austrian army. Find out. The citizens found out the real news. Hold on. The city held on for 10 days. Give up. To stop trying. Brescia did not give up quickly. These phrasal verbs are useful in history and in daily English. Mini practice. Repeat these short sentences. The people rose up. Brescia stood up to Austria. The city held on. They found out the truth. They did not give up quickly. Good. Short sentences help your listening and your speaking. Now we move to the comprehension questions. Now, 5 comprehension questions. You can answer out loud or you can write your answers. After the 5 questions, I will give you the answers. Ready? Question 1. In which city did the revolt happen? Question 2. When did the 10 Days of Brescia happen? Question 3. Which army controlled the castle above the city? Question 4. What is a barricade? Question 5. What nickname did Brescia become famous for after these events? Here are the answers. 1. The revolt happened in Brescia. 2. It happened from March 23rd to April 1st, 1849. 3. The Austrian army controlled the castle. 4. A barricade is a quick wall in a street made to block soldiers. 5. Brescia became famous as the Lioness of Italy. Thank you for listening. I am Richard. Today you learned English with real history. The 10 Days of Brescia, a story of fear, courage, and memory. Listen again if you want to improve your listening. The second time, try to hear the new words and phrasal verbs. See you in the next story.